Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're looking at an ancient text that, honestly, at first glance, looks like a total snooze fest. But it's actually this profound, absolute masterclass on teamwork. Okay, let's dive right into this. If you've ever tried reading Nehemiah Chapter 3, you've probably asked yourself, is this just a boring construction log? I mean, reading this chapter out loud feels like taking a level 10 language test. It is completely packed with these impossible-to-pronounce names and endless lists of who built what. It's the exact kind of chapter most people just want to quickly skip right over. But wait, think about the sheer volume of overwhelming data recorded here. We are talking about 38 specific individual names, 42 different groups of people, and 10 different city gates. That is a ton of information, which brings up a really important question. Why on earth would God record all of this minute detail in the biblical text? Well, it's not just taking up space. There's a deliberate, really profound lesson hidden right beneath the surface. This ancient data actually forms a hidden blueprint for modern project management, community building, and leadership. We're going to break this down into 5 powerful secrets. Arise and build, the power of order. Diverse teams win championships. Focus and faithfulness, and finally, overcoming inevitable difficulties. Starting right off with number 1, arise and build. This principle is all about a massive shift in mindset. We're talking about moving from just, observing a problem to actively taking steps to fix it. The text centers around Nehemiah's famous rallying cry to the people, let us rise up and build. And hey, context is absolutely everything here. He was speaking to a group of people who had been living in Jerusalem for decades. They had gotten completely accustomed to living among ruined walls, broken gates, just piles of ash. The older generation had passed away, a whole new generation had grown up, and they were completely used to living with these broken walls every single day. But this ancient narrative, it challenges us directly today. Choose to be a builder, not a spectator or a critic. As our source points out, whether you're in a church, a ministry, or an organization, it is incredibly easy to find flaws. Literally anyone can point out what's wrong or broken. But the true leaders, the people who actually change the landscape, those are the ones who decide to step up, put on their work gloves, and start building. Let's move to the second point and see how this builds, the power of order.
Look, passion and a willingness to build are fantastic, but without structure, even the best intentions are going to eventually collapse. The text lays out the construction process so methodically. Step 1, Eliashib, the high priest, builds the sheep gate. Step 2, next to him, the men of Jericho build. Step 3, next to them, Zaccur builds. And notice that beautifully repetitive phrase, next to him or next to them. It's used a staggering 28 times in this chapter. This ancient sequential flow brilliantly illustrates a modern Gantt chart. It is a highly organized sequential tracking of exactly who is doing what and exactly where the responsibility begins and ends.
Because order brings life, while chaos stops progress. The source points out that God inherently operates with order. Think about the creation account in Genesis. It's this absolute masterpiece of moving from a formless void into perfect, structured order. On the flip side, confusion and a lack of structure, they bring projects to a grinding halt. It's exactly like the famous biblical story of the Tower of Babel, where jumbled languages stopped all construction dead in its tracks. If you want a project to succeed, you absolutely need order.
Moving on to number 3, diverse teams win championships. We've all heard the saying that in sports, talent wins games, but united teams win championships. Well, this massive wall-building project was no different. Now, what's really interesting here is the quirky, absolutely fascinating diversity of the builders involved. You've got the religious sector represented by the high priests, but right down the wall we have the commercial sector. Goldsmiths, and even perfume makers like Hananiah doing heavy stone masonry. Perfume makers doing heavy lifting. And representing the family unit, we have rulers like Shallum working shoulder to shoulder with his daughters. High-ranking officials and everyday citizens all picking up tools together. And despite their radically different day jobs, their backgrounds, and their social standings, this wildly diverse group connected perfectly. They formed a continuous chain with absolutely zero gaps in the wall. This proves that a community's greatest testimony is its unity, not its individual superstars. When all these different parts lock together beautifully, doing their assigned portion, the defense is completely impenetrable. Which brings us to secret number 4, focus and faithfulness. When we're working on a massive project, there's this huge human tendency to hyper-focus on what everyone else is doing. But the text repeats a really fascinating detail. it frequently notes that a builder repaired opposite his house. For instance, men like Jediah or various groups of priests, they were assigned to repair the exact section of the wall that was directly in front of their own front doors. They didn't have to march all the way across the city. They just had to step outside and faithfully take care of what was right in front of them. So the crucial point we need to take away here is this. Avoid comparing your assignment to someone else's. Don't envy someone else's gig. If your peer is assigned to build some massive, highly visible defensive tower, and you're assigned to patch up a basic, unseen section of a flat wall, it's okay. Focus on your specific section and take real pride in it. Just be faithful exactly where you are planted. We all have a specific stretch of wall to manage.
And finally, we hit number 5, overcoming inevitable difficulties.
Look, whenever you decide to build something meaningful, you are going to face pushback. The source beautifully juxtaposes two groups from the text here. On one side, we have the Tekoites. These were incredibly hardworking volunteers who not only repaired their assigned section, but the text tells us they actually went on to repair a second additional section of the wall. Talk about overachievers. But on the other side, we have their nobles. These were arrogant internal leaders who felt they were just way too important to get their hands dirty, and they flat out refused to stoop down and serve. It just proves that ministry and leadership always involve external opposition. And yeah, deep internal friction too.
Welcome to Real Leadership. Seriously, if you find yourself facing impossible people, or if you feel completely misunderstood and unappreciated while you're serving your heart out, congratulations! You have officially arrived in real, non-sterile leadership. Working with people is messy, and honestly, it always has been. The ultimate takeaway from Nehemiah's massive project is this. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start right now. There is absolutely no such thing as a perfect organization, a flawless church, or the perfect moment to begin. If you wait for the stars to align perfectly, you're going to be sitting in the ruins forever. The time to stop looking at the broken pieces and actually start picking up your tools is today.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question. What is your section of the wall? Where are you being called to step up, stop spectating, and start building? Grab your tools and let's get to work.